Hey everyone, did you know you have superpowers that you use every single day? And no, I'm not talking about flying or turning invisible. I'm talking about the superheroes of the math world, addition and subtraction. So let's dive in and find out what makes them so incredibly powerful. Seriously, just think about it for a sec. When you're counting up your toys, or maybe figuring out what you can buy with your allowance, are you using math? The answer is a big, resounding yes. You're already using these skills, probably without even realizing it, and we're about to see just how powerful they really are.
You know, it really all boils down to a super simple idea. Something like this. 2 plus 3 equals 5. But how do we get to 5? And what happens when we take something away from that 5? That one simple question, well, that's the key. It's the secret to figuring out everything from the score in a game to the exact change you get back at the store.
So, let's completely reframe how we think about this. Forget seeing them as just something you do in school. Addition and subtraction are actually your own personal tools for solving problems and, honestly, for making sense of the entire world around you. They are, without a doubt, true everyday superheroes.
All right, let's kick things off with our first hero, addition. This is the superpower of putting things together, of making groups bigger, and figuring out exactly how much you have in total.
So what is addition really? Well, at its heart, it's just combining things. It's that simple. Imagine you've got 2 cookies, and then your friend gives you 3 more. You're adding to what you have to find the total amount. And in the world of math, we have a special name for that total. We call it the sum.
And you know, addition has its own special language, its own lingo. The numbers you're actually adding together, we call those add-ins. And that final answer you get, that's the sum. So in this example, the numbers 2 and 3 are our add-ins, and 5 is our sum. See? Simple as that. Okay, now here's a really cool secret about addition. It's got this hidden power called the commutative property. I know, that's a fancy name, but all it really means is that the order you add numbers in, well, it doesn't matter. So 3 apples plus 2 oranges gets you 5 fruits. But what about 2 oranges plus 3 apples? You guessed it, still 5 fruits. The order makes no difference.
And get this, there's another secret rule. This one's called the associative property. Again, sounds complicated, but it's not. It just means that when you're adding a whole string of numbers, the way you group them doesn't change the final answer. You could add the first 2 numbers first, or you could add the last 2 numbers first. Either way, the final sum is always going to be the same.
Okay, but of course, every great superhero needs a partner, right? A sidekick. And for our hero, addition, that partner is subtraction. This is the awesome superpower of taking things away or finding the space, the difference between 2 different amounts.
Yeah, subtraction is all about figuring out what's left over. Let's say you start with 9 delicious cupcakes, and then your friends eat 7 of them. Bummer. Subtraction is what tells you that you've only got 2 left. It's basically the math we use to see how much a number goes down. And just like addition, subtraction has its own set of special words. The number you start with, the big one, is called the minuend. The number you're taking away from it is the subtrahend. And the answer you get at the end, that's the difference. Now, knowing these terms just makes it way easier to talk about exactly what's going on in a subtraction problem.
All right, get ready for the big reveal. This is where it all comes together. Addition and subtraction, they aren't just neighbors, they're a team. They are so deeply connected, and I'm telling you, understanding this connection is a true math superpower.
This right here, this is probably the most important thing to get. They're what we call inverse operations. And a great way to think about it is like this. They're just 2 sides of the very same coin. One superpower perfectly, and I mean perfectly, undoes the other. So what does inverse actually mean? Well, it just means that one operation reverses or undoes the other. It's that simple. If you know that 3 plus 5 equals 8, then you automatically know that 8 minus 5 gets you right back to 3. And let me tell you, this connection is so useful for checking your work and for solving all kinds of problems. And this powerful relationship creates this really cool thing called a fact family. It's basically a little group of math facts that all use the exact same 3 numbers. Just look at how 3, 4, and 7 are all connected here. The amazing part is, if you know just one of these facts, you can instantly figure out the other 3. How cool is that?
Okay, so you've totally mastered the basics. You get it. So now it's time to level up.
Let's see how these superpowers work when we start dealing with much, much bigger numbers. And don't worry, the rules are exactly the same. We just need to be a little more organized.
So when we're adding bigger numbers, the big trick is just to line everything up nice and neat. We always start on the far right with the ones column. Okay, so 4 plus 7, that's 11. Now, since we can only have one digit in each column, we write down the 1 from the ones place and we carry that other one over to the tens column. Now we just add up the tens. That 1 we carried, plus the 3, plus the 8, that gives us 12. Same deal, write down the 2 and carry the 1 over to the hundreds column. And finally, we add up the hundreds. 1 plus 2 plus 1 is 4. And boom, our final sum is 421.
Subtraction with big numbers? It works in a really similar way. First, we line them up and we start from the right. But wait a minute, we can't take 6 away from 2, right? So what do? We need to borrow from the column next door. We take 1 from the tens place, so that 1 becomes a 0. And we add 10 to our ones place, so our 2 turns into a 12. Now we can do it. 12 minus 6 is 6. We just keep doing that for each column, borrowing whenever we need to until we get our final difference, 156.
All right, now that you've officially leveled up your skills, let's bring this all back to the real world. Because, what's the point of having superpowers if you don't use them, right? Let's take a look at where you can actually spot these things in action, like every single day.
And I'm not kidding, they are everywhere. You're using addition and subtraction when you're calculating change at a store, when you're figuring out how much time is left until your game, when you're measuring ingredients for a recipe, checking the scores, even just sharing snacks fairly with your friends. Math is, quite simply, a super practical tool for your daily life.
Okay, let's do a super quick recap just to lock in those key terms for our superpowers. Remember, the sum is the answer you get when you add. The difference is the answer when you subtract. Carrying and borrowing, those are just smart ways to regroup numbers when you're working in columns. And inverse, that's the big one, means they're operations that perfectly undo each other. And there you have it. But remember, this stuff isn't just ideas on a screen. These are real tools that you can use. So my final question for you is this. Now that you know exactly what to look for, where are you going to spot these math superheroes at work in your world today? Keep your eyes open. You'll be surprised.